Howdy, friends. It's Konstantin inside Russia. Early morning here in Uzbekistan, and it's about 8:32 and 6:32 in Russia. It looks like Crimean bridge was partially destroyed about 40 minutes ago, and I am to give you the coverage of this breaking news. I'm still trying to set everything up, so just give me a couple of seconds. Так. This event is not looking very good for Vladimir Putin. Yesterday, 8 hours ago, I made a stream saying that Putin's gonna be out of the door soon, and this event can trigger the actions. Because you know why? Because with strong, with adequate, with good leader, the bridges aren't bombed and blown out. Basically, let me tell you what happened, what we know at this point. There's not much. And there's not much, but just give me, this is an emergency stream, obviously, it's breaking news. So I'll be reading a lot of news as I am streaming to give you the information in real time. Hang on. How do I know, you ask? Well, I have every single available news resource, including unofficial ones coming out of Russia. So I know as much as the person who knows the most knows. So let me give you an assessment. Right now, there is one or two news in Russian propaganda, in Russian media. They are usually very slow to act because they don't know what to say about that. So Russian, let me go on to Russian news resource called Lenta.ru. That's Russian, controlled by the Russian government. That's propaganda, but that's a very popular resource among Russians. Hang on. There's currently news that says Crimea bridge is closed due to an emergency. What is known of the night accident? So they don't call it the bombing, they don't call it the explosion, they call it the night accident. That's how you judge, that's how you see propaganda from real news. The real news, they usually tell you as it is. Crimean bridge was blown up or was bombed or something, and the propaganda says the night accident or incident. What is known of the night incident? Let me turn on the live stream chat, by the way. What is known of the night incident? Spansky stid. They are just night incident. Okay, so this, I don't guarantee that I'll be answering every question, but if you want me to see your questions easier, the comments, please put them in caps, and at the same time, highlight them in orange by putting inside Russia after @ Otherwise, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a busy stream, And I apologize in advance if, for some reason, I don't answer your question. If you want me to answer, to notice, be consistent. Just keep on reposting it. So Russian propaganda says the Crimea bridge is closed due to an emergency. What is known of the night incident? Incident or accident? Probably incident. The governor of Crimea has announced an emergency on the Crimea bridge. The traffic has been stopped. They don't say how it is, you know. This is freaking weird. The emergency, not the bombing, not the blowing of the bridge. The emergency happened 17th of July, which is this morning. Crimea Bridge near Pillar 145 from the Krasnodar region. They don't say what it is. But they say that one of the, what's this? How do you use pillar, right? Hang on. Bridge span. There you go. One of the bridge's spans fell down. That's a small incident, you know. These people are quite something else. But anyway, so the news say that there are 2 people died and 1 was hurt badly. And that is a teenager. The governor of Crimea has asked everyone to keep calm and calm and trust only official sources of information. Well, this is nonsense. How can you trust official sources of information in Russia if you have even a little bit of brain? There are versions in Russia. Again, I'm reading Russian propaganda. This is the starting point for me, and I'll be telling you how things are in a few minutes. There are different versions. The possible cause of this accident can be explosions. According to Telegram channel Военкоры Русской Весны, 2 explosions were heard after 3 in the morning and 3:20 in the morning. And right now it's 6:41, so about 3 hours ago. After the explosions, the traffic on the Crimean bridge has stopped, and the cars started being forced to make U-turns. The aftermath. Well, obviously there's a huge traffic jam because lots of Russians are going to take vacation in Crimea. Which is, to me, it sounds absolutely insane. Okay. Just give me a couple minutes, I'll tell you why. Alright, lightning on the Crimean bridge is off. On both sides of the bridge, there is a huge traffic jam, and it's growing, well, obviously. The Crimean authorities are claiming that, you know, after this they don't say it's explosion, they're saying that after the stop of traffic of Crimean bridge, there will be no deficit shortage of necessary, you know, products, food, fuel, you know, medicine and other things. That's interesting. The Russian propaganda says that Sergei Aksyonov, which used to be Ukrainian politician, now he's governor of Crimea, he made a statement and he addressed the locals, the Crimeans, and the tourists that are currently vacating in Crimea, and he asked to use the alternative route that links Russia to Crimea. And what is that alternative route? Yeah, that's the lands where there's war going on. You know, Melitopol, Mariupol. I drove to Crimea many times through Ukraine. Yeah, 2010, 11, 12, every year I used to go to Crimea. And this is exactly how I would drive. It's a shorter route, okay? You leave Rostov. There's about 1 hour drive to Ukrainian border from Rostov, from where I lived. And then about 40 miles and you are in the city of Mariupol, huge industrial city, or it used to be. Now it's half raised. Then you drive through pretty much country road to Melitopol. And then from Melitopol to Crimea. I would say the entire drive was 4.5 hours or something like that through the territory of Ukraine. And this is what Aksyonov is asking everyone to use right now. Well, this is good luck to them, you know. Now, folks, this is propaganda, and there's very little news right now. Like I said, propaganda is lacking because they don't know what to say. They need not direction, they need not guidance, orders, pretty much. Someone in the Kremlin responsible, and that's the first head of chief of staff responsible for propaganda. Now they're sitting with his crew and trying to think how to respond informationally. This is how information war on the minds of Russian people is going, okay? And it's going to take them a few minutes. Once they're done, they're going to send a message, I don't know, fax or email or something, to every single newspaper, every single media outlet, to the chief editor. And that's going to be one piece of paper or two pieces, like a piece of paper, one, or usually it's one sheet, you know, and it's going to be bulleted. The Crimean bridge incident should be called such and such, you know. Your reaction should be such and such. You should not say, like, from this to this, you know. You shouldn't mention the death. Things like that. If you know, I'm trying to give you an idea how they work. So once all Russian media get this address, and they all get the same thing, okay, at once, they will explode with information about Crimea bridge collapse or bombing, or, you know, I'm telling you the way it is, okay, not the accident or incident. What is the right word, by the way? If people die, is this accident or incident? Accident. Well, there's no accident. But they keep on calling it accident. Accident. Well, yeah. Accident. Так. Where is the stream? Here it is. Okay, so I see a couple super chats, but folks, thank you. But I'll, address and answer them in a couple minutes. This stuff is breaking right now. Breaking news. All right. So they have published a video after the explosions on the Crimean bridge, and I'm gonna watch it right now. Someone's playing the music. Someone's driving over Crimean bridge. Night, usual drive, nothing unusual is happening. Going. And stopping. Oh, I think I missed the explosions. Alright, so far the only video evidence is one guy driving at night, and it's completely dark. July 17th. It gets dark. I'm sorry, the sun, well, from what it looks, it's around 3 in the morning, because at 4 it's already grayish, it's not dark. So, and then there are 2 explosions far away. That's the only video evidence there is available right now to anyone. Okay, there's another news on Russian propaganda. This literally just appeared seconds ago. A special group of investigators from Attorney General's office has departed to the Crimea bridge because of the, this accident. They keep on calling this accident. So... A new information came out. Ministry on Transportation has given analysis to the состояние. Hang on, I translate as I go. The Ministry of Transportation assessed the condition of the Crimean bridge after the accident. Yeah, accident, right. Okay, the Ministry of Transportation has proved that there are damages of the pavement on Crimean bridge. They are saying that the pillars not the pillars, prongs or something. Hang on. Bridge spans. They're claiming that the bridge spans are in their places. So the bridge spans, пролеты. There was another news that one of the spans fell down completely. That's why I made the stream. Crimean bridge has been partially destroyed. All right, Russian propaganda. Let's say what TASS says. TASS уполномочен сообщить. TASS, same thing. This all propaganda news outlets, they are following the same шаблон. What's шаблон? Same template, I should say. because their news are absolutely same. Last night, Crimean Bridge, the traffic on Crimean Bridge was stopped. They know. I mean, they know. If I know, sitting in Uzbekistan, my friends, they know. You understand what this comicity of the situation is. They know much better than I do, much better than anyone else. And yet, they say, well, you know, traffic stopped on the Crimean Bridge. Yeah, right. There is an accident on the Crimean Bridge. Now, let me look at the. That's what I'm gonna do. Doug, thank you so much. Is the bridge completely cut off now for traffic? Yeah, traffic's completely stopped. From what it looks like, one of the spans fell down. So I mean, you just can't cross the bridge now, you know. Michael Long, thank you for reporting. That's what I want to do. I want to give you the truth from the first hand. Someone says CNN is reporting now. CNN says, at least the website says, Putin warns Russia will retaliate if Ukraine uses cluster munitions. How? Russia's been using Santsepek, which is cluster munition, for the past, I don't know, 16 months, something like that. Like, how Russia will retaliate? And the website of CNN does not say anything. Okay, there's a news. Emergency incident reported on the bridge linking Crimea with Russia. An emergency accident. That's they're kind of saying the same thing I'm saying, that the Russians call it the emergency accident. Okay, and they just did same. They said that basically I think me and CNN, we have the same sources right now, but the big difference is I'm gonna be giving you right now the inside, and CNN only relies on the official information released from the officials, Russian officials. Well, good luck with that. John Chereshna, I saw a video with large openings between slabs. Could you please tell me where? Which source you saw it on? Because I'm not seeing anything like that. Ned Gligic, to be fair, people posting the news may not have full details about what's happening and may be waiting for official statements. Well, what I'm having right now, I have about 25 feeds from different, I'm gonna say people, of different news that are not propaganda, and they usually give very true information very fast. Okay. So Russian propaganda starts waking up, and they are repeating the official statement of Ministry of Transportation and Sergei Aksyonov, the governor of Crimea. They're saying the same thing. Crimean bridge has been damaged. The pavement has been damaged. Please stay calm. And the traffic is closed. John Cheresna, I saw it on Facebook. Okay, Facebook is where people post breaking news, so I believe that. Besides the Crimean bridge, there also was what's this word? Ferry, large ferry going back and forth to kind of supplement, because there are usually, this is high season, tourist season. I thought the bridge would be empty, and I thought there would be no tourists to Crimea, but I guess there were, and there are tons of people in Crimea right now. What are they gonna do now? That's for them to decide, So I figured that it doesn't matter. There was a ferry going back and forth, and it stopped. It shows us that this what they call the accident or incident. It's pretty serious, because they even stopped the ferry boat from going back and forth. Any hit on the naval base, gabbing with Gaby? As far as I understand, there was a massive attack or attempt of an attack, and there were lots of explosions around Sevastopol. And Russian authorities said that they defended, they shut down all Ukrainian drones, which I have hard time believing. I always have hard time believing Russian government. Okay, usually if they say everything's fine, everything is really bad, and vice versa. So there was a massive attack, and I think these two events, they're obviously connected. Mark Lale. Constantine, I hope that the bridge is going down now. I see traffic jam that will hinder troop movements in the near future. I bet orc artillery will accidentally kill Russian. Well, I can tell you one thing though. This has always been a question for me. A lot of people from the West and a lot of Ukrainians say that the bridge must go down, and it will help the war tremendously. It will help Ukrainian side tremendously, because there will be no troop movement on the Ukraine bridge, Crimean bridge. I have hard time understanding that, because as far as I know, as far as I understand, again, I'm not a military expert, but from what I'm seeing, there was not much of military movement on the Crimean bridge, and there hasn't been, what's going to happen now. Let's say bridge is out of commission. That's not going to be either bad or good for if they start defending Crimea from the Ukrainian forces, because if they want to move more troops, the helicopters from Novorossiysk, there's a large naval base there, okay, and it's just minutes from Crimea. They will just take tons of transport helicopters and transport people, cannons, tanks, everything, What I possibly see may be hindered is fuel supply, okay? But I'm pretty sure if it comes down to fighting, like real fighting, there's plenty of fuel for that. And that fuel is not going to be a deal breaker. So what I understand more is that the Crimean Bridge is a symbol for the Ukrainians. Okay, and as the destruction of the symbol, it makes sense. Okay, but as destruction of something that can hinder the movement of troops, not sure. Prove me otherwise. If you're a military expert, just this is my opinion as of person who's not qualified in anything military. I'm just trying to apply common sense to that. Ferrari guy, the belief is that for large, heavy, and substantial amounts of war materials depends on railway more than anything. But what more materials? Everything that needed to be moved to Crimea was moved long time ago. What? Ukrainians start pushing from top, and what's going to happen? Russians all of a sudden wake up and go, oh, we need to move tons of stuff to Crimea, Oh, we're going to do that within a few days. So I'm sorry, that's not how it works. Crimea is either fortified or not fortified. If it's not fortified, it'll fall within hours, okay? There will be no time to move substantial amounts of war materials. There will be no need for that, okay? And if it's fortified, then the war materials have already been moved. Again, Ferrari guy, please prove me wrong. Rick Sanchez, the bridge would have never been built if it wasn't important. It's more important for civilians than for military. That's what I believe. Because military, it can easily move things, war materials, by helicopters, as they did in late February of 2014, when they were actually annexing Crimea. That's how they moved into Crimea, on helicopters. And they moved heavy armor and everything by helicopters. Lorna, thank you so much. Please, everyone, please stop the stupid comments or leave. I agree. That's... Craig, Crodden, they have less helicopters. Wait, they have enough. You need a few dozen helicopters to reinforce. But my point is, everything's been reinforced already, okay? They don't need to move anything military over the Crimea Bridge now. Any news footage yet? Hang on. Let me check it out. More news coming out of Ministry of Transportation. I tell you what, people start waking up because more and more news is coming as we speak. Ministry of Transportation has just came out with another statement. The pillars have not been damaged, and the bridge spans are all in place. I don't believe that. I don't. If Ministry of Transportation says that, I don't believe that. There are unconfirmed reports coming out that there was a missile strikes. There was missile strike, two strikes actually, two explosions. And unofficial reports have it that 2 bridge spans have been destroyed, so they fell down. At least 2 people died, and 1 was hurt. It has been hurt. The videos start coming out, but they're videos from either made from Russia or from Crimea, and there's not much to say at this point. The sound of explosions. It's hard to say what it is. Real Science says tired of innocent 18-year-old Russians being led to their deaths, oblivious to what's going on in reality. Me too. Makes 2 of us. I'm very tired of innocent Russians being led to their death and giving orders to kill Ukrainians. That's just insane. If someone told me 2 years ago that something like this would be happening between our countries, I would laugh. I would never believe that. Milan M. Good morning. Believe it or not, but I had nightmares all night long. I stopped streaming 6.5 hours ago, so I went to bed and I had nightmares. I never get nightmares. I sleep, I fall asleep and then I wake up just like if nothing happened a second later. But this time it's been very strange. Так. Unofficial media. Oh, there's a footage. No, that's a picture. Picture of late night or early morning, and is clearly a side of the bridge that is doesn't have lightning on. So the picture was taken a few hours ago. Let's wait until they take pictures now, because if you have a good zoom lens, you probably can take picture of that from Kerch, from where the bridge is. Kommersant, Russia's biggest business newspaper, has been reporting, well, obviously, that they have a huge number of people working on that. So teenager was taken with concussion. Sergei Aksyonov released a video statement.
Очень чрезвычайная ситуация на Крымском мосту. В результате ЧП остановлено автомобильное движение на Крымском мосту. Значит, причины выясняются. На месте работают правоохранительные органы МЧС, соответственно, и службы, уполномоченные со стороны Краснодарского края, Минтранса Российской Федерации и Республики Крым. Соответственно, информация будет опубликована на официальных источниках. С точки зрения железнодорожного сообщения хочу обратиться ко всем туристам. Только что переговорил с первым заместителем министра транспорта Российской Федерации Костюком Андреем Александровичем. До 9:00 железнодорожное сообщение с Крымом будет возобновлено. То есть расписание поездов, которое сместилось, будет, соответственно, полностью будет нагоняться. С точки зрения автомобильного транспорта, всех гостей Крыма и жителей Крыма просим пользоваться сухопутным коридором, соответственно, через новые регионы Российской Федерации. Информацию о работе по восстановлению, соответственно, автомобильного движения будет опубликована в ближайшее время Минтрансом Российской Федерации. С точки зрения уточнения и добавления количества паромов, я имею в виду для перевозки в чистом виде еще и гражданских дополнительно, будет тоже сообщено на официальных ресурсах до 9 часов, до 9:00 текущего дня.
Okay, so he came out with statement. He seems unshaken. He seems like as business as usual. He said that all guests of Crimea are asked to use the land bridge to Russia, from Crimea to Russia, and that is the land of that Russia grabbed from Ukraine. You know that, the annexed lands. Good luck with that. And he also said an important information that after talking to the Minister of Transportation of Russia, the minister assured him that after 9 a.m., which is, not 9 p.m., which is, was it 9 a.m. or 9 p.m.?
Крым. Соответственно, информацию только что переговорил с первым заместителем министра транспорта
Hang on.
Российской Федерации Костюком Андреем Александровичем. До 9:00 железнодорожное сообщение.
So, just about now, that the railroad transportation, the railroad link should be reopened and the trains should go as usual. It means one thing, that there are two bridges. One bridge is the car bridge, and it sits lower, a little bit of lower, and the second bridge right next to it, and it's higher, and that is the railroad bridge. So it means that railroad bridge has not been affected, has not been hit, has not been damaged. TK421, welcome to Inside Russia. We have a new sponsor. Thank you, friend. Christopher Glass, thank you so much for your support. Grumpy Koala, welcome to Inside Russia. Thank you so much for joining the sponsorship. All right, so some information, whatever it's worth, I don't know whether it's true or not, but some channel is reporting that preliminary information says that the Crimea bridge was attacked by the sea drones. The sea drones. I don't know. There are two ways that Russians can react, Russian propaganda can react to this event. They can, I don't have a good word how to say what happened right in English. Definitely, I don't want to call it accident or incident because it's not. Clearly, it's not. It's an attack. Event, attack. But anyway, there are two ways Russian propaganda can react to this attack. One way, they are going to downplay the importance of it, as they usually do. And another way is they can escalate. They could escalate if Russia were to answer, to give a symmetrical answer. But from what I understand, Russians cannot do that because they're physically incapable. So media watching right now, my bet is they're going to be downplaying this whole thing. Morning Glory, thank you so much. Thank you. they keep on saying about one child who has been hurt on the Crimea bridge, and he's got his diagnosis is, let me tell you how it's called in English, traumatic brain injury. Condition is of moderate severity. That's what they've been reporting. But 2 people have been killed, most likely his parents. They've been killed. And they are not saying anything about that. It means one thing in my eyes: they're downplaying the scale of this event, of this attack. And it looks like Ministry of Transportation is also downplaying, saying, oh, it's not a big deal. The pillars are standing, still in place, the spans are still in place, and railroad transportation will be carried out as usual. So in my eyes, that's downplaying. Also, there's news that Vladimir Putin has called up an emergency meeting of Russia's Security Council. And that's probably, well, it makes sense. They're gonna be deciding what they're gonna be doing about this. But what can they do? Minister of Tourism of Crimea has called the tourists to stay inside their hotels. I was talking to my wife the other day about this. Because what happened on the 1st of July, in Russia, it's the time when, that's not only in Russia, it's in Europe as well. It's time when you take your vacation and you go someplace nice, for example, the sea. Well, Russia does not have much of nice seaside with warm sea. The only place is Sochi, and the amount of beaches is not great. I counted on the map. There are only 45 kilometers of beaches that can be used for people to swim and so forth. But Crimea, around 500 miles of wonderful, wonderful beaches. The coastline of Crimea is just incredible. The Ukrainians are really lucky, I remind you, my father was born and raised in Crimea, and I still have relatives there. He was born in 1952. Crimea was part of Russia, and then I think a couple years later, after his birth, it became part of Ukraine. It has remained a part of Ukraine ever since. But the Russians annexed Crimea, as you know, and lots of Russians started going to vacate in Crimea. I did, guilty as charged, but the main reason for me to go there was to see my relatives. And like I said, I went every single year. I went in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. I drove through Ukraine. I remember it was fun because Ukrainian cops would stop me. I sped, and they didn't know what to do with me because they couldn't give me a fine. They couldn't take away my driver's license, and we would laugh about that. It was always a fun experience driving through Ukraine for me. And then, this annexation happened. So lots of Russians started going vacating to Crimea, and I figured that there's war going on between Russia and Ukraine. I mean, Crimea is being attacked massively. The Sevastopol, the Russian fleet, almost every day. And I mean, what kind of crazy person you gotta be to take your family, kids, wife, load them into a car and drive to Crimea? Ukrainian drones are shot down there, on daily basis. I mean, it's not safe for the family. And I was talking to Natasha when there was a huge traffic jam. On July 1st, there was lots of Russians started going there. And we discussed this, and we both agreed. I'm so happy and lucky that I have my wife because we have same opinion pretty much in everything. And we're just saying, like, how crazy you gotta be to go and vacate there in July of 2023. And 17 days later, we're proved right. You gotta be pretty crazy to vacate there right now. Deku Parker, thank you so much. Sinan, thank you very much for your support. I appreciate it. Thank you. Так, any more news? The reports are coming out from Russian province of Krasnodar about a huge traffic jams, and the cops are working extra hard. They're just talking to people. People start yelling at the cops. Well, what do cops have to do in this situation? Nothing. The cop is being actually attacked by angry Russians. Well, imagine, you drive to Crimea to vacate. This is so insane. And then you get stopped right before the Crimean bridge. You'd been driving for the past 2 days, and then you get stopped before Crimean bridge, and then this traffic jam is dead. Like cars not moving anywhere. And there's a cop, and then people start attacking cop. What's going on? Why aren't you moving the cars? And then he yells at them, saying, "Are you crazy? There's been an attack on the bridge." It's actually a feature of Russian people. They disregard danger, okay? Perhaps it would be a good stream. Why? It's one of those things that Russians have. I don't know how to explain it, but when earthquake happens, like, say, for example, in Turkey, you know what first thing in Russia happens? The influx of tourists, potential tourists, they start calling travel agencies, seeing if Turkish offer discounts. Everyone else, stays away from Turkey because of the danger of, aftershocks and things like that. And Russians fly because they offer discounts. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, there's a very interesting news just came out from Russian Duma, Russian Parliament, and the upper and lower chambers of the Russian Parliament. The senators of Russian Parliament and the members of the senators, they are a part of the lower chamber of Russian Parliament, and the senators or members of the upper part of the Parliament chamber are advised before they say something publicly. They are advised to get approval from their supervisors. The supervisors are the speaker of, the lower house and the head of the upper house. So they're trying to tighten the grip on now even on senators even more. More news came out of who died. A family, a husband and wife from Belgorod region died as a result of what they call the accident attack on the Crimea bridge, and their daughter has been hurt. She's got traumatic brain injury, condition of moderate severity. Now, the newsmaker is the governor of Belgorod region. He's been cited all over the news about the couple from Belgorod. Okay, let's go back to the official Russian propaganda. Jekyll N, thank you so much, friend. Usually you don't have messages, but there is one now. Could there be a possibility that it was actually an accident? After all Z Russians are known to smoke at inappropriate places. Jekyll, look, I'm not sure whether it was a joke or it's a real question. If it's a joke, I take it. Is a real question? No, it's not possible. There is no possibility of this being an accident because no, it just cannot be an accident. After all previous accidents on Crimea Bridge, the security has been tightened so much there. Okay, it's no accidents possible. Oh, probably possible, but very not probable. Ireledge, thank you so very much for your support. I appreciate it. Thank you. And there was a question from Crusader Damien I saw. Slava Ukraine. L will be Ukraine. Champagne bottle is ready. Russian authorities says bridge is okay. So is that confirmation it has fallen? Well, look, Crusader Damien. If they're saying everything is all right and fine, nothing's all right. So get that bottle ready. Brian Woods, to the hardest working guy I know. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. I was finished with the stream. I went to bed. I woke up, picked up the telephone, and it was right then. The first news was published 1 minute before I saw it. And Lorna immediately sent me this news. So we looked simultaneously. I don't know how Lorna, my trusted moderator, how she comes up with Russian news so fast. It's pretty unbelievable. Leo, thank you so much. Tea-fee. Thank you. By the way, I need to make tea. I'm drinking water because I haven't had time to make tea. So if you could excuse me for a couple minutes. No, 30 seconds, not a couple minutes. I'll be right back. By the way, I thought of one thing. This isn't my first stream when something happens on the Crimean bridge. And I wanted to clarify something, folks. Brian Woods, shout out to Lorna, who's home alone but doing a great job holding down the fort. Thank you, Brian. I don't know how to thank Lorna. Lorna, thank you so very much. And I think everyone is really thinking right now and appreciating what you're doing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lakituba, God bless all people losing their lives in this conflict. I pray for it to stop. Thank you, my friend. I pray for it to stop too. And, if someone says that, oh, it's a good thing that this couple died on the bridge today. No, it's not. Human life is absolutely priceless, and it doesn't matter who you are, American, Ukrainian, Russian, It was given to us by God, and God is the only one who can take it away. So I pray for it to stop as well. Folks, I just thought that this isn't my first stream about Crimean Bridge accident, The first one was very controversial. There was an explosion on the Crimean Bridge, still unclear, either bombing or explosion, and that happened last October, November, something like that. So anyway, I saw, just like today, I saw the news and I went online and I started commenting. And believe it or not, so many people took my words out of context. And every time I give an interview or every time I, speak on another channel, there are people commenting me there saying, oh, you know what, that guy thinks that Crimea belongs to Russia. That guy thinks that, it's a terrible tragedy happened to Ukrainian, like bombing Ukrainian bridge, the worst thing happened. That is not true. Okay, I would like to make this very clear. I think that Crimea belongs to Ukraine. According to the international law, that cannot be broken. Crimea was annexed by Russia in 2014. And sometimes, quite often, people confuse me saying that Crimea is currently controlled by Russia to that Crimea is Russian. That's completely different things. I want to make it very clear right now. If you go to Crimea right now, you will see Russians there. It's controlled by Russians. It's a Russian-installed government led by Sergei Aksyonov, the governor, Russian cops, Russian investigative committee there, Russian KGB has an office there. Russian troops are everywhere, Russian army. So it's controlled by Russian laws working in Crimea. If you break a law, the Russian police will catch you and they're gonna be, sending you to Russian court. So Crimea is currently controlled by Russia, but it doesn't mean that it's Russian. It's been annexed from Ukraine. So make no mistake about that. This is my position. It has not changed much. One, two, three, Dune Buggy. What happened? I just woke up. Well, make yourself a coffee or a tea and come and sit in front of the screen. I'll tell you what happened. Hang on. I also need to make some tea. Yes, by the way, I wanted to show you the tea that I'm drinking. No, I'm not sponsored by the English manufacturers of tea. No, I'm not. I just love the English tea so much. This is what I have. Twinings, English breakfast, intense strength, 5 leaves. I like it very much. It's my favorite drink, basically. Tiny Dancer. Didn't Zaluzhny vaguely mentioned something yesterday about this? I did not hear. Janice Burgess, your turn. Lose, people. Mr. Dude, please do not insult me. Of course lose, no tea bags. This is what I have. This behind the scenes stream, okay? No tea bags for me. It's today, I agree with you, Lorna is incredible. I'm having iced tea. Was nothing wrong with that, Angie. Iced tea is also good. John Bill and everyone who just recently joined, yes, you can have recap. Let's do that. Again, the stream is... I make things up. I not make things up. I speak of things up as they happen. So there's no message. There's no structure. I just speak as things unfold. This morning there was an attack of some kind. It's unclear of what kind of attack on the Crimean bridge. Supposedly there are extensive damages. Russian government says it's trying to downplay this whole thing, this event, this attack, saying everything is unusual. There was an attack and the pavement has been damaged, but the spans are in their place. They're still there, and the pillars have not been affected. There are reports that at least 2 spans have just fallen down into the water. The traffic has been stopped, obviously. There are reports that railroad traffic will be open very soon. Perhaps has already been opened. That's all we know so far. It was either an attack, missile attack from air, or there are reports that there are sea drones. I'm not really sure what sea drones are. Perhaps mini submarines or something like that. Submarine drones, and they were aimed at the pillars, but I'm pretty sure that later today we will learn way more information. So I decided to stream to show you how Russian propaganda works and to compare with the real news, like real news coming from real people. Crusader Damien, just now Russians are producing smoke on the bridge so the world can't see the bridge is undamaged. Is it a joke or is it true? Smoke over the water, literally, Getting Constantine. Northern Grace, thank you. So let me have this wonderful English breakfast. Scotch. Ray, I'm having scotch. It's higher than English tea. Well, to me, be having scotch right now at 9 in the morning. Well, I don't drink scotch and gin. I had a couple shots, though, when I went away. Yesterday, I went to... field trip with my friends from Tashkent Breakfast Club. By the way, this stream, I will stop it in about 45 minutes because I have to attend the meeting of the English Breakfast Club, International Tashkent Breakfast Club, not English Breakfast Club, English Tea I'm drinking. So, and then I will come back and most likely will do another stream. We'll see how things are happening. And Earl Grey, I have that too. I like Earl Grey very much. Very delicate taste. So John Bill, I just did a recap for you. I hope that helped. Gabing with Gary. I think Lorna has more fans than Kay. And you know what? I'd be perfectly fine with that. Absolutely happy. Because she does deserve them. Steph, Bulgaria. Howdy, my friend. Здравствуйте. I know. We're all waiting for this madness to be over. What am I gonna be doing today, friends? This is gonna be my stream. First of all, I will give you update of. I was going to make a stream tonight for me, today for you, or tomorrow for some of you, about economic situation in Russia, because the latest numbers are out and they're not good. The Titanic is definitely going down big time. But I will speak of two things. First of all, I'll give a wrap up of a summary of what actually happened at the Crimean bridge. And as the second part of the stream, I will call lots of people in Russia today, and I will learn their opinions on what is happening and what do they think happened and what's their attitude towards that. And I will tell you, I will call both Z people and, people who do not support the war. Ferrari guy, I'm afraid Perun is right, and that the wartime economy can continue on for a long time, even when it's in the toilet. It can, but there are chances that it cannot. Okay, so that's a deeper analysis should be done. Allison Marlowe, howdy. Oh, Liz, EMS paramedic, probably one of my first supporters, viewers. She viewed 4 years ago when this channel had like 15 subscribers. Liz, if you are hearing me right now, we pray for you every single day. I hope you're feeling better. I hope that all is well with you, or at least all is better. Stray Kitten offered to switch one day with K. You talking K mods? Let's do that. Matt 086. Everything is going according to the plan. Well, this is exactly what I'm going to be asking today, the Russians. Whether they think that this is part of the plan and whether they think everything is going according to the plan. Crusader Damien, as for Scotch, my father was fond of saying that it's always 5 p.m. somewhere in the world, and the smoke on the bridge is real. I'm watching it. Are you watching it with your eyes, or are you watching it like satellite or through, like, I don't know, through something? And if you're watching it, then please let us know what else is going on. Crank, praying for peace. Thank you so much. Me too, and us here too at the end of the stream. Johnny's Hendrickson, I'm a big tea drinker. 3 of my favorite teas are Twinings Lady Grey, Higgins and Burke's Earl Grey, and Bigelow Constant Comment. They're great if you like a very flavorful aromatic tea. It's okay. My most favorite is unflavored, but strong, which is, I find the English breakfast to be the best. I also like Taylor's at Harrogate Yorkshire Gold. That tea is absolutely amazing. And I like Earl Grey, Twinings, but I haven't tried Lady Grey. I gotta try it, you know. I haven't seen that tea, Lady Grey. Mr. Gen Xer, howdy from Wisconsin. And this war, pray for Russia and Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you so much. Did the bridge smoke carelessly again? Tiny Dancer, I repeat again, answering your question, they never announced, confirmed officially what was the cause of the first attack. They were saying for a while that it was an explosion of a truck and it was a very sly operation of Ukrainian military forces, terrorists and such. But there were some versions that there was a missile attack, okay? And they did the very same thing they do always. They simply stopped talking about that. Macy Moore, thank you so much. So it's unclear, you know, CNN says right now that, is saying right now that there were missile attacks, and then some are saying drone attacks, sea drone attacks. I don't know. Janet Pope, thank you so much for your support and the words. Thank you for jumping in and providing the scoop, praying for peace in the end of Putin. Makes 2 of us, makes many of us. We pray in thousands for that every single day. Thank you so much. That's what I do. I try to share as much as I know and as much as I see. Claudio Stamata, inside Russia, this should be bad news for Ukraine, because when they will attack Crimea, then the Russians won't be able to regroup. I don't understand. Why Russians won't be able to retreat? Oh, withdraw. You know what? I haven't thought of that. They will be able to withdraw, to run away. They will use vessels, just like they did from Kherson, leaving, running away, retreating from Kherson. Retreating! Moving to a better position. That's what they said. So I believe that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna use vessels, probably helicopters, and most likely they will leave all the civilians behind. Sempress, thank you. Lady Grey is like Earl Grey, but more flavorful. Just found your channel recently. Appreciate your perspective. Prayers from Georgia, USA. Thank you so much, friend. Thank you. Thanks for the explanation, support, and for the prayers. Money is appreciated, needed, but the words, they're really precious and priceless. Always Bastos, have you got links to the videos? My friends, today I will try to introduce a new format of streaming where I'll be able to share the videos with you. I've downloaded a software and I'm toying with it, playing with it right now. Unfortunately, I cannot do it right now because that's kind of an emergency stream, you know. I cannot send you the links because I look at things at Telegram. And I don't know how to send links, to post links from Telegram to here. Liverpool. Good morning to you. Is it good news about the bridge? Is it gone? It's not gone. It's still standing. It looks like there are 2 spans have fallen down. But Russian government claims everything is according to the plan and normal. I don't believe that. Well, is it the good news? For the couple, for the family that died on the bridge this morning, not so good news. Their daughter is in serious condition, not good news. But if you look from the other angle, it might be considered good news, yes. So you decide for yourself what's to you the good news or not. CJ Backman, thank you so much for your support. Thank you, appreciate. There's no message, but message is pretty powerful. And Kent Burdall, thank you. Looks like you're from the USA. Stuart McKenzie, thank you so much. Two spans of road bridge only, unfortunately. Sav, howdy, sending love to Australia from Tashkent. Early morning here. Well, not early morning. It's actually late morning, 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. already. Are there many Russians who want to see the end of Putin? Yes, there are. Assuming Ukraine knows what it's doing militarily, hopefully Ukraine will try to isolate Crimea to make it more susceptible. Okay. Ridgecrest, California. Romania. Howdy. TikTok, I don't even have TikTok. I don't use it. But Twitter, I don't use either. I use Telegram. And the messages start coming out. Cream of the Chrome streams. Haven't heard you say that phrase in a while. Love from the USA. Thank you so much, friend. I usually say about the Russians who left Russia, I say, I name them the cream of the crop. Really sorry for the family, but that's on Putin's head. It is 100% that family and many other families. It's not the first family in Russia that died. In Belgrade, families died, people died. And I'm not even talking about Ukraine. I mean, that's just innocent people who were living their lives, and Russian army came and started killing them left and right. And that's also on Putin's head. But you know what? It doesn't matter because they're dead. To them, it doesn't matter. They just died. They were killed, murdered. And that's tragedy for everyone. You know, at the end of the streams, I pray for Ukrainian children who have been misplaced, displaced moved to Russia, you know, and some operants, some taken away from their parents. I can't pinpoint every single child. I just pray for all Ukrainian children. And then I pray for Russian children because they also have suffered. And yes, we all understand who is the reason and the cause of the suffering. But it doesn't stop their suffering, you know, either. Hakan Salström, thank you so much. Sending my love from Sweden. Interesting, you have a Turkish name and a Swedish last name. BSW, US vertical of power isn't much different. You know, I would argue about that. BBC reporting Russia's transport ministry said the explosion did not damage the bridge supports and only the road surface has been affected. That's exactly what I said about 40 minutes ago. They're about 40 minutes late. Or perhaps they watched the stream. Thank you so much. No name, but there's a question. Do you think Russians culturally value lives less than the West on average? I have the answer ready for you. How does this impact their future integration to the West after Putin? I made a stream on the price of human life, value of human life in Russia compared to the West. And yes, culturally, Russians think of the value life, human life, much less that people do in the West. Because in the West, it's the highest value, really. There's nothing higher than that. And in Russia, if your motherland needs you, you gotta go and give your life for the motherland, and there's no questions asked, okay? That's where it's coming from. The whole idea of value of human life in Russia being not so high is because you're nothing, you're a speck, you're an ant. You live to support and provide for your government, okay? For your motherland, to make your motherland great. Make Russia great again, you know, things like that. If the motherland needs you, if it needs your assets, if it needs your money, then you must give it. If it needs your life, you must give it. If it needs your children, you must give them, okay? This is Russia. How does this impact future integration of Russia into the West after Putin? I will be answering that one stream at a time. Thank you for your support. Miles David, hey, from Scottsdale, Arizona, with a high today of 114, 45 degrees. Hope you are doing well, brother. I'm doing well. Slept okay for how many hours? 5.5 hours. Streamed, went to bed, woke up, started streaming immediately. Air conditioning here, so it's nice and I was gonna say quiet. It's not quiet. It's nice and cool in here. And outside, I would say around 105. So not far off from where you are. And that's the same climate. Sun is the same and the humidity is the same. So very, very dry and very hot. Guess who hasn't slept? We know that. Lorna hasn't slept. Lorna, I'll let you go in a few minutes. Lucky Tuba, thank you so much. Thank you. ISK, I don't even know where this currency is from. Let me look it up. Icelandic kronor. Wow. It's fantastic to see you from Iceland. Thank you so much. I love Nordic people. You are so calm, so like full of common sense, you know. Thank you so much for coming, tuning in, and giving me a chance. Так. Good morning from Ireland. See, everyone is waking up now. Suzanne Samuelson, long time no see. Like, 6 hours no see. Good morning. God bless Ukraine, free Russia. Josh from Jersey. Macy Moore, have you ever thought running for office? Not a slightest desire to do that. I am not cut to be a politician. I don't lie. I tell the truth. I say how things are, and that's not what politicians are expected to do. Christian Akamura, Konstantin, how do you deal with loss of your grandma? Need advice? I lost my grandma. One of them was in 92. I don't remember how I dealt with it. I remember it hurt, but that was a long time ago. But I do remember the one that I lost in 2000. Not 2000, 1998. It hurt a lot, and I cried a lot, and I prayed, and that's how I didn't do anything else. There's not much you can do. Let me tell you, when your grandma, departs this world, that's one other thing. That's one way your parents departs. That's completely different thing. So, and there's nothing you can do. You just have to live through that. Jason, do you think if Putin is ever removed from power, his replacement would be worse? Impossible to say now. I never say anything about the possible person who will be replaced, who will replace Putin, because who will replace Putin? What power group he will come from? What interests he will defend? There are some oligarchs who are tied to the West, and if they install their own person, then that person will be negotiating the yin-yang with the West and, doing everything the West says to open up Russia, okay, to open up those oligarchs, to get them off sanction list and so forth. If you get a person like from Patrushev and the Siloviki, hardcore, that's going to be a different story. So we don't know. There are different pathways, and depending on which path Russia chooses, there will be results. Does Putin know, like, the Swedes started Russia 1,000 years ago, waiting for the Swedish invasion of Russia? Look, don't ever say that to Putin, because he will have you for that, because, everyone in Russia thinks that Russians started the world. It's Russians started Russia, it's Russians. And they forget about the Vikings, okay? Conveniently forget there is a Russian saying, "Из варяг в греки," meaning Russia was area where the Greeks and the Vikings connected. Okay, they were going basically through the city of, there wasn't city of Rostov, but on Don River. They were going from the north to the south. And basically it was the Viking who actually christened Russia, I believe. Hang on, let me... 1,000 years ago. I will not speak of this in details, because I'm not an expert, and I'm afraid that I will look foolish. But I should learn more about, like, what happened 1,000 years ago when Russia was christened, was baptized, and Christianity introduced to Russia. But I think that has something to do with the Vikings coming from up north. And there was a Viking king. He accepted Christianity, and then he made everyone else accept, something like that. But don't quote me on that. Forgive me, I don't want to look foolish. New video released. Dr. Cornelius, thank you. Let me just acknowledge super chats and I'll look for it. Lisa Morning, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. From Finland with love. I love your nickname, your name. Thank you so very much. Congratulations on becoming a part of NATO. So now you can be, absolutely, you can sleep safe. All right. Too much talk. Let me look at the news. Okay, there's a news report just came out at 9:57, about 15 minutes ago. One of the spans of Crimea bridge, where the traffic is towards Russia, has been destroyed, and another one towards Crimea has bin damaged. It hasn't fall down, but it's been, damaged. 3 a.m, there was an explosion. Supposedly missile. 3:20 there was another explosion around the railroad bridge. This is how they lie, okay? You don't have to make efforts to catch them. They just... Folks, what is this? Am I crazy? You have the governor of Crimea, okay? He releases a video statement. It was released 1 hour ago. It's everywhere. It's around 9 a.m. He says, "Oh, I just talked to the Minister of Transportation of Russian Federation, and he assured me that minutes after the talk, like we finished talking, the railroad transportation will be open because the Crimean bridge, the railroad bridge, has not been damaged, so no worries. And 1 hour later, they're saying that there was an explosion on the railroad bridge, and they're just assessing the damages now, and they'll be making a decision what to do next later. What is this shit? Pardon me for being very rude. What is this shit? He says one thing, and literally the news prove him liar. Why does he do that? And this is how they work. They literally lie every single time they open their mouth and something comes out of their mouth, you know. I don't understand. In my picture of the world, in my view of the world, lying is a terrible thing. If you lie even once, you know, people don't trust you anymore. What kind of life is that? Should we try to raise money for cement mixers for Russia? Well, I tell you what, now they're probably already stealing money, saying, oh, we need many more mixers. We need 1 trillion rubles for the mixers, you know. They have no shame. I don't understand. How can you live without shame? Julia, he was sent there by Kremlin to rule Russia, to rule Crimea. He not even a local. He's a local. He was born and raised in Crimea. I'm gonna give you information on Aksionov right now. He used to be a mafia boss in Crimea in the 90s. His gang was called Kabluki, the Heels. And this is who Sergei Aksionov is. Hang on. This guy was born in 1972, so he's fairly young. He was born in Moldova. He's the governor of Crimea, starting with October 2014. And before he was interim governor. So he graduated from Simferopol, which is the capital of Crimea. Simferopol Military Political Construction College. He graduated 1993. Well, he actually did not graduate, but he finished his education. Then he got higher education in Simferopol. He's lived in Simferopol pretty much all his life. And he was a politician starting 2008 in Crimea, you know, way before Russia, so. Lying is normal work in Russia. Unfortunately, Daryl, you're right. And to me, this is not the country that I want to live in, that I was born. Even when I was growing up in the USSR, you see, back then, the government was lying, and we all knew that. It was not even lying, it was like living in a different world. We did not consider it lies, what they were telling us. We consider it like they were Martians. and they were living on Mars, and Mars happened to be right next to us. But people did not lie. In the 90s, people did not lie. If you give your word, if you don't keep it, then no one deals with you anymore. That type of thing. But then that's a late phenomena. People just start lying. Politicians, oh my God. They open their mouth, and not just they don't have shame. They don't have they find it normal. And I don't understand why. It's absolutely crazy. So let's look at what's going on about the Security Council. Any news? Okay, there's a news coming from Crimean authorities. They are saying that the authorities are planning to open temporary camps at the eastern part of Crimea. The tourists who are stuck in Crimea will be able to get information of the alternative route that goes through Ukraine. Good luck with that. And we'll get some kind of help, they're saying. They're still keeping silent about what happened. They're still not saying anything. All they're saying right now is, look, Crimean bridge is closed. Oh, look, the traffic is stopped, has been stopped. The railroad traffic has been stopped. But they're not saying it's an attack, missile attack. Again, this is how Russian propaganda works. You are seeing it with your own eyes right now.
Учитывая сложившуюся ситуацию, мы просим гостей и жителей полуострова не отправляться к Крымскому мосту, а пользоваться альтернативными сухопутными путями перемещения.
The authorities start coming out with video messages. We are asking tourists to stay away from Crimea Bridge. Well, no shit, genius. From Iceland again, thank you so much. Lucky Tuba. I pray for all Russians and Ukrainians. This conflict is stupid. Couldn't agree more with you. Both countries are Nordic. Vikings founded Kiev. Kanugrad. King Olev, founder of the city. In Russia, we call him King the Tsar Oleg. And the King Rurik founded Russia. We're all Nordic. Rurik, there you go. Rurik, and he founded the dynasty of the Ruriks. Yes, thank you so very much. I totally agree with you. The Nordics have founded both Ukraine and Russia. And you know what? Now you wait and see. There'll be probably lots of stones flying at us. Me and you for saying that. But we are Nordic people. I agree with that. Ralph Walnard. Any more details? Right now, the details are still scarce. It looks like there was an attack. One span of the Crimea bridge fell down, and another one was damaged. Traffic has been stopped. The Crimean authorities are averting Russians from traveling towards the bridge, and there's a huge traffic jam that Russian cops on the other side are cleaning out, trying to make cars turn back. Basically, it's a huge mess. Okay. What's important right now is a couple things. How they're going to evacuate people, the tourists, the smart ones, who travel to Crimea to vacate. How they gonna evacuate them? Through ferry boats, or through directing them to Ukrainian territory in the north of Crimea, and going through Mariupol, Mariupol to Rostov. And another, of course, the most important news is what Russia is going to do, how and if it retaliates. And it will be decided in the following hours, because Vladimir Putin has called up Russian National Security Council, and they're going to be discussing the situation. That's what's known. It doesn't matter at this point how, in my opinion, how it was done. Sea drones, missile, it's been done. What's done is done. Let's wait for the reaction of the Russian government, of Putin. My bet is, I don't want to bet. They can either downplay, just like they did the previous attack, or they can escalate, which they probably don't have much resources to escalate anyway. I'm hoping they will not use nukes. That would be the end for Putin, for Russia. And it's going to be huge damage to Ukraine. So I hope they are not that stupid. I'll pray now for that not to happen. Putin has taken so many lives, many Russian lives and many Ukrainian lives, many children's lives. Can't disagree with you. I mean, can't agree more. It's not just God who can take it away. I disagree with that. It's not just God. It's the only God. Hope Putin gets a conscience. There's no hope that Putin gets a conscience in my books. Okay, folks. I gotta take a break. I will stream more today. I don't know when, and we'll discuss with the mods. Thank you so. John Chereshna, Telegram. Just hang on 1 second. Release the pictures. Yep. I'm seeing the damage. They'll fix it up in a couple days. This damage is not extensive. It's not much. Yes, it's not the entire span missing, but some of the blocks of the span is missing. They're gonna fix it in no time. At least that's the picture what I'm saying. Okay, folks, gotta wrap it up again. I will be more prepared. This is just a makeup stream as things were unfolding, happening. Stuff to consider. Thank you. Plus, immigrate to Canada with your entire family. You know what? If I could reach out and kiss you right now, I would do that because words like that really warm my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Canada is a fantastic country. You have my virtual hug and a kiss. Thank you so much. Folks, what I think is important to know right now is the Crimean bridge has been attacked. The damage has not been done, hasn't been much damage. It'll be restored within days. One family was killed, a couple, husband and wife, and their teenage daughter is in coma. Not in coma, it's a head trauma. Head injury, it's serious condition, but not life-threatening. That's a tragedy, of course. Everything else, we wait for the news, the big news from Putin and his security gang. I'm sorry. It'll come within a few hours, so please keep on tuning in. Lorna, thank you so much for helping out today, right now. It's fantastic. And there's another super chat from Lucky Tuba. Lost from Iceland tonight. Please take care, Konstantin. God bless from Iceland. Sending my love to the Nordic country from the very south, from Central Asia, from Tashkent. Sending my love. Thank you so much for your support and thank you for wonderful words and just being here. Thank you. So, folks, please stay tuned. There will be another stream, perhaps a couple streams if things start, the news start breaking. I don't think they will be. I think that that's going to be it for now. But what I'm looking forward to hearing is the decision of Russian Security Council, of this gang of Russian Security Council. So what do they have to say? And I will let you know definitely. Thank you so very much. You're absolutely awesome. You rock. Before I sign off, I would love to ask you to say the usual ending of the stream. Please say it out loud as you can, with me, along with me. Let's do it. Carthago delenda est.